His teacher gave him a bad grade, and he got rid of her in the most inhumane way possible.
I know what I did was wrong, and I accept responsibility for my carelessness, for my ignorance.
The teenager thought he would get away with it because of his age, but when he received the brutal sentence, he didn't even flinch.
A high schooler that formulates a plan with his friend, and the Spanish teacher is a dangerous person to the community.
Nohema Grabber was a teacher at Fairfield High School. However, she never imagined that practicing her profession would lead to her at the hands of Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, two students she taught Spanish to. After giving one of them a bad grade, the teacher sealed her fate in a fatal way.
On November 2nd of 2021, I met Willard Miller at Chautauqua Park. I understood that he had the intent to Mrs. Graber.
The incident occurred in 2021 when the teenagers ambushed Grabber and her to death using a baseball bat. Goodale and Miller, who were 16 years old at the time of the crime, were seen leaving a park driving the teacher's car. After her mysterious disappearance, the woman's battered body was found under a tarp and a wheelbarrow. It seemed they had left no traces, but after boasting about their crime on social media, a friend of theirs alerted the police.
Jaden had brought a bat, among other supplies, to go through with the. And after he had struck Nohema Graber, we then moved her off of the trail, where I then struck her, and she as a result. Afterwards, we removed any evidence that we could, and that was my recollection of the events on November 6th.
Miller and Goodale's testimonies contradicted each other. However, after several months of investigation, both teenagers pleaded guilty to premeditated murder.
Mr. Miller, you have the right to make a statement. It's called allocution. Is there anything you'd like to say to me before I sentence you?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to take this opportunity to wholeheartedly accept responsibility for the role that I've played in the murder of Nohema Graber. I would like to apologize for my actions, first and foremost, to the family. I'm sincerely sorry for the distress that I've caused you and the devastation I've caused your family. And from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry for your loss.
The murder of Nohema Grabber shocked the entire world, and the victim's family was so devastated that they were unable to read their testimonies in court themselves.
I do believe every person my sister-in-law Nohema Graber ever met became her friend, if she wasn't already. The only exceptions being the two who stole her from the thousands who loved her. She had a way of lighting up the room when she entered. That was because she genuinely cared about every person. People called Nohema an angel when they spoke of her. She had more than 50 godchildren, maybe 56, but she didn't broadcast the fact. Instead, she chose to live her love for them and anyone in need without thought of self. She never spoke of her good deeds, but lived the gospel every day with her big, joyful, loving heart.
Finally, Willard Miller was sentenced to life imprisonment. However, when he heard the judge's sentence, the teenager showed no remorse whatsoever. Meanwhile, Jeremy Goodale is still awaiting sentencing, which is scheduled for next month.
Certainly a high school junior who formulates a plan, or high schooler that formulates a plan with his friend, and the Spanish teacher is a dangerous person to the community. The definition of malice is the intention or the desire to do evil. And evil does not have a birthday. This court cannot overrule precedent. However, I will not gloss over the fact that you and Mr. Goodell cut Nohema Graber's precious life short. That would not be justice regardless of your age, Mr. Miller. The bedrock of our criminal justice system is deterrence and rehabilitation. And ultimately, while acknowledging your youth and developing brain, I find that your intent and actions were sinister and evil. Those acts resulted in the intentional loss of human life in a brutal fashion. There's no excuse. There is not a systemic societal problem that explains or justifies your actions. The court finds, based on the nature and circumstances of this offense, along with the required 25 factors that I am to consider in sentencing a juvenile in the state of Iowa first degree, that the defendant, Willard Noble Chaden Miller, should be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 35 years. This sentence is permissible under the Iowa law. A 35-year mandatory minimum is not cruel and unusual punishment for the defendant, as it represents the appropriate time of incarceration for the defendant and Mr. Goodell's premeditated